Hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, so welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game I played for a week and then I'll talk about it. This week's game is Popeye for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was released in 1982 and it's a single-player arcade platformer developed by Nintendo R&D 1 and published by Nintendo, and also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. So about a week ago I wanted to play Popeye, but I totally forgot about Retromania, so I played it this week instead. But before I talk about the game, I need to talk about the character of Popeye himself. So in 1919, E.C. Cigar created a comic book for a newspaper called Thimble Theater. In 1929, Popeye was introduced to the comic strip and more or less became the main character of the story. And this was during the Great Depression, so he filled a very big role. And I would argue he is almost as recognizable as Mickey Mouse. So the character is actually based on a real person. He's obviously dead by now, but a sailor, a scrapper named Rocky Fiegel. So while doing research for this game, I found something interesting. So Nintendo wanted the license for Popeye, obviously, but they didn't get it. But the work they already done, they couldn't just throw it away. So they made another game which is very famous called Donkey Kong. So if Nintendo had gotten the license to begin with, we wouldn't have Donkey Kong or Mario. And I mean, Mario is like $1 million Nintendo baby, if not $1 billion. So it's kind of crazy, isn't it? So when you start up the game, you get a Popeye logo and a happy little jingle, and then you can select between one-player game A, one-player game B, two-player game A, two-player game B. And if you wait a bit, you get a demo of gameplay. So in the first level, you need to collect hearts that Olive Oyl is dropping from the top of the screen, and Olive Oyl is basically Popeye's love interest. You also need to avoid Brutus, or sometimes called Pluto, which is Popeye's rival. You need to collect 24 hearts in order to beat the stage. At the top of the screen, you have the current score and the high score. And the first level has 3 planes, so you walk between them via stairs or ladders. There's a bottom part with water, and if the hearts stay there for too long, there's a game over because you need to pick them up right away. Brutus can also throw bottles at Popeye, which can be broken with well-timed punches. Popeye can also pick up a can of spinach, which makes him invincible against Brutus' attacks for a moment, and he can also knock Brutus out while in this mode. Brutus can also jump between the layers and try to punch and grab Popeye. Popeye has one trick up his sleeve. He can punch a bucket, and with a little bit of timing you can make the bucket land on Brutus' head. So the second stage has Popeye collecting notes that Olive Oyl is dropping, so I guess she is singing, and for some reason this stage was super easy. So on the third and final stage, the ship, Olive Oyl is grabbed by a giant bird and put atop of the screen. So you need to catch letters that are falling down, H, E, L, P, and M, spelling out help me, and you do this until the game thinks that you're done. You also need to avoid the bird, but you can also punch it, and you also need to avoid Pluto or Brutus. So once you beat the final stage, the game loops, and the game gets harder and faster, and there are more enemies. So there's nothing more than that to talk about, I guess. There's some small differences. So gameplay: help Popeye save Olive from Brutus and get a highest score as possible. Control: the D-pad is movement, the A button punches, and the stop button pauses. Graphics: the graphics looks like Donkey Kong, simple sprites, but they're well made. Sound and music: Yukio Kanaoka made the soundtrack for this game, and I like the main theme and the stage 1 theme. It's really simple, just hummable tunes. And I don't know if the microphone picks it up, but there's a storm brewing outside, it's really windy. Easter egg seekers and glitches: I watched a YouTube documentary about Popeye called I Am What I Am by Davey G, or at least it is on his channel. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't know much about Popeye, so if you're interested, go look it up. So in conclusion, I wrote, yes, play it. It's a classic. The gameplay is simple, the sprite work is good, and the music fits the format. And as I said previously, if Nintendo just would have gotten the Popeye license to begin with, we wouldn't have Donkey Kong and Mario today. And it's kind of crazy to think about, just a license issue made Donkey Kong and Mario. At least I think that's crazy. But anyway, thanks for listening and for watching, and take care.